What's up, guys? Dan here for BladeReviews.com, taking a look at the SanRenMu 763. And this is a knife that I actually received as a gift from a fellow YouTuber who goes by the name of Southpaw Knives. And him and I had done a little trade, and the sneaky guy threw this one in for free, which was really cool of him. And he said, noticed that I didn't have any SanRenMu reviews and thought that I might enjoy taking a look at this one. And man, I'll tell you, he was right. So I've been carrying this for a couple months now, and I'll tell you, very, very happy with this knife. Quite cool, so excited to share it today. First of all, for those who are unfamiliar with SanRenMu, this is just a company in China that makes knives. I think they make knives for some of the American manufacturers, but they also have their own line of blades as well, and they're all pretty small knives, but very sturdy, and many of them can be had here for under $10. So you're going to have to go to places like eBay to find them, or order them directly from overseas, but you can get them, and in my opinion, at least the 763 here is well worth the money. So let's get in. Let's just do a quick size comparison. What the hell. So what I've got here is a SanRenMu 710, which is the quote-unquote poor man's Sebenza, perhaps the most popular SanRenMu out there. And I've also got a Spyderco Dragonfly. So just to give you an idea, these are smaller knives, but for EDC, I think it's definitely a great size. It's got a 2.7 inch blade, a 6.2 inch overall length, and a weight of 2 ounces. So very carryable, and probably legal pretty much anywhere. So I like it a lot. So let's pull these out of the way and let's talk about the blade here. So, and the first thing you'll notice, or the first thing I noticed, was just the big belly on this thing. It's got a nice drop point design with just a wicked belly there, and I found that this knife is great for food prep. And I've been recently getting into using my folders in place of a paring knife in the kitchen, and part of that is just to test them out and see how they perform, and also it's because I enjoy using my folding knives and my EDC knives, so it's just another kind of excuse to bust that out and use it. So why not? And the 763 has performed really well in the kitchen. So, and I think it's because it's just got a really nice belly on there, and I love that design. Aside from that, you've got a pretty high hollow grind here, and you've got a little swedge, and perhaps on mine I've got the slightest bit of a recurve there. I'm not sure if that's just, somebody got a little too overzealous at the factory grinding the edge, or part of the design, but it does have very, almost imperceptible amount of recurve to it. And the steel on this knife is 8CR13 MOV, which I am very familiar with, having many Spyderco products now that have the steel, and a few other brands. And I'll tell you, the 8CR13 MOV that comes with this knife is actually very impressive. Great edge holding ability for this thing, at least in my experience, because I had this knife for about 2 months, like I said. I think, I can't remember when exactly we'd done the trade, but it's got to be 6 or 8 weeks ago, and I've been carrying it, and I've never had to sharpen it until just the other day. When I was starting to do the review, I put a fresh edge on it, and to be honest, it still cut paper, and I think it even still could shave hairs off a little bit, but I just wanted to touch it up, and it's got an excellent edge retention on this thing. So maybe mine's blessed or something, who knows, it might be some sort of steel mix-up at the factory, but this is some of the most impressive 8CR13 MOV I've handled. So very, very pleased with the steel, performance, and overall blade shape. The handle is made of FRN, or I'm actually not really sure. It could be G10, could be FRN. For under $10, I don't really care either way, but it is it's a quality material. It's been given a nice finish on there, maybe a little medium traction kind of finish, and it's got this this brown plastic backspacer. This is definitely plastic, the spacer, but it's held together nicely on those little screws, and everything's flush, and it's been countersunk, and you've got this little steel lanyard loop in the back, and the handle's actually really well put together. the liners on this are nested, and they are not full liners. They stop, if you can see that, right about here on the knife. So very lightweight handle, and just a nicely constructed handle as well. Ergonomics for this little blade are pretty good. You can almost get a full grip on there. That's a four-finger grip, but for some people it might be more of a 3.5-finger grip, a little on the small side, but like I said, for a little EDC knife, I think it works very well. You do have some jimping on the top here. It's not the most meaningful jimping, but it does provide some traction and some feedback. There is a little choil on the bottom, a little choil area, I guess, and it keeps your finger from running up on the blade, and it's very, very nice, very satisfactory. I'm pleased with the ergonomic features of, like I said, a small knife. They aren't as outstanding as, say, this Dragonfly, but that's another review, and we will get to the Dragonfly at some point here. So, but yeah, pretty good ergonomics, and the pocket clip is also pretty good too. As you can see, it's just a folded over piece of steel, been attached here with 2 screws, and it's also, as you can see, recessed, so it's not going anywhere. Some of these 2-screw pocket clips I've noticed tend to start getting loose, and I have not noticed that with the 763 here. So I suspect that's because it's got this recess. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's got a recess here in the handle. So great little clip, tip-up carry, ambidextrous, love it. So deployment is done through these little thumb studs, and perhaps my biggest complaint with this knife is the fact that the thumb studs are real close to the handle, so it can be kind of difficult to get your thumb in there and ensure that you're going to get a full and fast deployment every time. But they do their job, and this is me being picky, but I feel like the thumb studs are a little close to the handle, but they do work, and there are some nice phosphor bronze washers in here, so deployment is just nice and smooth, very fast, and a lot of fun. And yes, you are seeing this correctly. This appears to be some sort of axis lock, which I only thought were allowed to be on Benchmade knives since they hold the patent to it, but somehow one has mysteriously ended up on this SanRenMu. So I'm not sure if that's Chinese, intellectual property rights issues or what, but either way, I'm not really complaining because it works really well on this knife, and it's been nicely executed here. It's not quite as nice as my $100 Benchmade, but it is totally sufficient and surprisingly smooth, fun to play with, and the lockup itself is excellent. There's no play at all. So, guys, that's pretty much it for my review here. As you could gather, this is a very well put together knife. I think it's a great little package. And for under $10, I mean, it totally gets my recommendation. I actually want to buy a few more. These make great little gifts, make awesome contest prizes. So, stuff like that. I think they're definitely quite nice. And not only are they inexpensive, but you're getting a really cool knife. This thing has kicked out a lot of more expensive blades out of my pocket, so I can easily recommend it. And not just for a $10 knife, but as a legit EDC blade. So, guys, that's my review. Thanks so much for watching. I will be back soon with another knife review, so sit tight and take care.